The views expressed on this podcast are based on a satirical and at times comical view of the subject matter. So don't get your panties in a wad. Live long and prosper, fuckers. Let's get the show started.
Big O! It's showtime!
This is the Tempest universe, man. Hold on to your ass. You're in for a hell of a ride.
Man, it is so difficult. After a big holiday, it is so difficult to get a podcast together, especially after we all got it. We all got it from the rear without the grease. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm starting this episode a little bit feisty, I guess. I can't help myself. I don't understand. People continue to go on and on about how great the UAP report was. How fantastic. Really, 9 fucking pages, 5 with content. 6 maybe? I don't know. But all filled with pork. Bullshit. Nonsense. Nothing of any value to anyone, to be honest. It makes no sense. No sense at all. Hopefully, I'm broadcasting this on the Tempest universe. This is the way it is, man. Like sometimes, after a holiday, you forget what the hell you're doing. And I could be broadcasting this on the Dark Horde network. But anyway, we'll see. We got Dave from Down Under. He loves when I say that, by the way. And Gamevid are on right now, so it must be on Tempest universe. I might be in the right spot. Welcome to the podcast. Yeah, we usually talk about UFOs, space, aliens, probings, and all kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on with SpaceX, especially with its plans to get an orbital rocket up. But we're going to leave that for Wednesday. We're going to push it aside. I am. I mean, just gently, because there's something they're doing that's changing a bit. So we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. We do have one space article today, but really important stuff, right? Number one, it's a couple things. Number one, I don't understand how the fuck people drink so much beer day after day. That's fucking alien to me. Let me just put it out there. I felt like I needed a forum to get this off my chest. Could you guys around the world, 66 countries now, listen to UFO Buster, for fuck's sake, the Tempest Universe, and UFO Buster Radio too, I'm not going to lie. In those numbers, both podcasts are being listened to. But let's get back to this. I don't understand how people can drink beer day after day. I literally picked up 12 beers, a dozen beers, Miller Lite, for those of you guys who want to know, and I only made it to number 7. Today, I'm so bloated. It is like, I just feel horrible. Miserable all damn day. I think I need to stick to my hard liquor, basically. Because I never feel bloated from that. I don't even get sick, to be honest. That's probably why my liver is probably shot. It'll just hop out one of these days and surrender itself to science. But I still don't get it. I don't understand. And I know people. People will drink, 2 and 3 6-packs, for fuck's sake, in a matter of 2 days. They don't look bloated. What is it? I don't understand. Maybe it's like a genetics thing. I literally feel like this morning. I felt like I was going to blow up. A little gassy, like bugs. So we kind of bonded today. But it's just crazy to me. Indiana Congressman, our buddy, Andre Carson, he made it on CBS's Face the Nation. Guess what he was talking about? Aliens. Extraterrestrials. Why is this? UAP report. He's one of the congressmen that says, hey, we need to get people into Congress to get in front here and talk to us about what the hell's going on. He's one of the guys that actually believes it's aliens, believe it or not. He's a Democrat out of who the fuck knows. I mean, at this point, what does it matter, to be honest? I'm sorry, he's from Indiana. Who really cares? You gotta put a bunch. If you're gonna put the people who wrote this damn report in front of the blasted, Congress, why? They're just gonna give you the same shit that's on the report. They'll go up there and just say, "I'll get back to you on that," and then we won't hear about it, right? Because then they'll do it behind closed doors. When did the alien come down? Congressman, I'll get back to you on that. That's exactly what's going to happen. Not one fucker is going to give a straight answer about that. They'll get back to you, or they'll put up another report like 4 or 5 pages more to give you less detail. That really is what's going to happen. The other thing that made me pretty sad this whole weekend, which really made me feel like that's it. It's a bust. The whole UFO thing, ufology, aliens, everything. It's all a bust. Was the idea that once this UAP report printed, like there were, people who write books and podcast hosts and YouTube hosts, they were like trying to get together. Let's have a forum. Let's all talk about this report. You really, was it going to take you that long to cover this shitty ass report? No. And the majority of them are all for it. Finally, the government's talking about it. No. Yeah, finally they gave you a fucking document that wasn't redacted. That's what they did. But they've been talking about it amongst themselves. They've been spending millions upon millions, probably billions of your tax money investigating it. You should be fucking pissed off, really, that they've been spending so much money, and here it is 2021, and they don't know what the fuck it is. That's where you should be upset about. Not fucking watching people having forums, getting together on YouTube talking about this fantastic UAP report, for fuck's sake. I'm really ashamed of this whole topic altogether. I'm just going to go report regular news. Like, that shit that's going on somewhere else. Because it seems to be the real important stuff. But they probably lie to you about that too, don't they? Completely nuts. It's nuts. We got a couple of reports to start out, which, of course, have to do with this UFO UAP report. And one of them makes a fascinating comment, which I had to go back into the archives of UFO Buster Radio to pull out a clip of one of our favorite people, just to show you people that are out there in these 66 countries, just to show you that in the United States, they will tell you they've just started talking about something, but for years they've been handing out money left and right, investigating what they still don't know, and the people are accepting it as fact. Hashtag fact. It's the truth. So we got that. And then, of course, there's news out of China, because China, China.
China. China. China. China. China. China. China. China. China. China now. China. China. China.
I know China very well. China. 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 China.
China. China. China.
Northwest Wisconsin, where I'm from.
It's China to me. China. China, 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 China. You want to buy from China? That's great. Buy from China. Buy toys from China. China in particular. China. China.
I mean, China. Oh, China. China is getting into the space race, but it is going balls out. China is giving no fucks to anybody, and they are in the middle of constructing their little space station. And it might be fucking humongous, right? It might be the biggest fucking space station we ever seen. It might even make Igor Belly a little jealous and his Asgardia folks. kind of wondering if they should have just signed up with China. Anyway, as what we normally do here is we play a little track before we get into the news. And there's some stormy weather down in Florida. And this is for you. Not too long ago, I was like, yeah, there's so many people listening in Australia and New Zealand that I feel like Dave should be the emissary for you guys in Australia and New Zealand. So we got to convince Dave down under to see if he wants to do some of that. Be like the emissary. Like maybe we can get him a cool Star Trek shirt to wear, and a probe and a communicator, because he can do it, man. He can lead you guys to the promised land of UAPs. Australia, another place that has a good history of UFOs. So, for fuck's sake, we got to bring him into the fold, folks. The Pentagon report isn't the end of the search for UFOs. According to some people, scientists say the right technology could lead to more answers. Here's the funny thing, and this is weird, right? And maybe not. So the report says We need new technology. We need to research R&D, research and development, to figure out how to get the right stuff to figure out what this I'm sorry, they never said ET. What these UAPs are, unidentified aerial phenomena. They don't want to use UFO anymore because it is too blue collar to use UFO, right? And then you got the stigma. Like, there's no stigma with UAP. Fuck, nobody knows what a UAP is. You ask the regular person on the street, what the fuck is a UAP? You know, some of them will look at you like, fuck are you talking about? You know, is that a new law? Is that some new tax we got to pay? Is that a new disease? Is COVID finally turned into something else? Do we have a UAP now? Coronavirus 15 UAP. People don't know what a UAP is. But this report says that scientists are jumping into the proverbial cash cow that is about to become the UAP search. Literally, what that report did is that it opened up an entire new avenue for scientists to receive research money. And they're on it. They're on it. This came out of the Inquirer.com. Now, I know you're saying, Manny, really, the Inquirer? Come on, guy. You know, we use that shit for our cages. We use it as a bird poop catching. No, I know. It's one of those tabloids, the Inquirer, from back in the day, really. I don't even think they're that popular now, but for fuck's sake, they are saying something that makes sense to many of us. Here's a quote from a lecturer out of the University of Pittsburgh. Everybody's in on this now, folks. We're so fucked, man. We're so fucked. Just because we haven't necessarily converged on wait a minute, who the fuck is we? Who's we? I just had to stop there for a second. What is she talking about, we? Just because we haven't necessarily converged on what the explanation is, the base assumption is that it's probably something we can explain if we have enough data. Everybody needs fucking data now. Like, literally, you have decades of data, but now we need more data. Now we need data that we pay for. Not data from Jimmy Bob or Juanita or one of these guys. That's not real data. Like, if you have people that report shit, time, date, shape, what was happening in the sky, what kind of sound or not sound it made, that shit's not data anymore. We need scientific data. We need scientists to get the data. This is what we're coming up to. This is where it's going to go. This was Melanie Good out of the University of Pittsburgh. Yeah. So what they're saying is that all these reports, you know, there's no lack of evidence of UAPs or UFOs. Zero lack of evidence. There's just not data that can be put into the realm of the scientist, right? Because we heard it over many years, right? Basically, you cannot apply the principles of scientific discovery because it's not repeatable. Shit just happens. Well, if I didn't want to get caught, kind of like Bigfoot, the shit wouldn't be repeatable, and I wouldn't show up at the same place every single time. I'm just saying, scientists, come on, stop fucking with us. Mark Miller, professor of atmospheric science, and here's why he's chiming into this shit. Because in the report, they had the other bucket, the other bin, where all the other shit falls into, you know? And then there was a bucket for things that might be happening in nature that we just don't know, and so forth. They created all these little buckets of how to explain something that they tried to explain 143 fucking times, but yet they were able to get categories, and the only thing that they could actually identify was the fucking balloon. I mean, I'm just a podcaster. What do I know? So Mark Miller, who is a professor out of Rutgers University, He says this, and this is one of those things that if you are or were or currently part of the armed forces, this should really get your goat. This should make you tingle in places where you normally don't feel it. That's all. I'm going to leave with that. Mark Miller out of Rutgers said, military equipment is not designed to provide the best scientific data. Yeah, that's just crazy. And then Avi Loeb says this, it's designed to do something useful for the military to quickly detect and report a potential threat. Avi Loeb, who says that our interstellar traveler Oumuamua from a couple years ago was an alien probe, says that military equipment is just there to analyze a threat. Well, for fuck's sake, what else is it? What else is it? If it's unidentified, flying over your sky, running circles around your military, then I would think that's a fucking threat. So the stuff actually did what it's supposed to do. It tracked. It got data. But people don't want to look at that data because I don't know why. Makes no sense. Miller, on the other hand, from Rutgers says, I can't tell you the number of occasions in the past that we've deployed a new sensor and then discovered artifacts over time. And that's all well and done. That is fantastic, Mark Miller, that you're able to put shitty equipment out there and get artifacts. But the problem with all of this is that if you take the Tic Tac incident, not only did you have equipment, not only did you have the most powerful radar being tested, but you had human eyeballs from several different angles, even at the same level as this UAP. So there is no way that the potential artifacts that might have been found in the radar system that the flotilla had, that somehow that translated into the eyeballs of the 4 people on those 2 F-18 Super Hornets, or the people aboard the flotilla that actually saw this from the naval ships. How the fuck does that make sense, Mark Miller? This is what you're getting. You're getting a lot of people who have not been following these stories all along. These stories that kind of broke this whole thing and it snowballed into this UAP report. The same people haven't been following this since before those incidents. But yet they've got ideas. They know things. They know military sensors are only there to recognize threat. Well, for fuck's sake, really? Here's a point where, historically, and this is where I just think people who say that the government finally admitted to not knowing what's in the sky. Finally, it's not finally. It's been happening for a long time. You just didn't get a report that was totally redacted. You didn't have to read in between the lines or make up words in your head. You actually read it. And what you guys was a bunch of nonsense. But the fact that someone can actually say something like this just tells you that they do not know the history of what's been going on when it comes to UFOs. They have zero clue. All these guys right now, all these scientists that are coming out of the woodwork, all they're looking for now is grant money. Free money. Now they're going to get into the business of collecting data on UFOs, when before the stigma was too great for them. Yeah. The guys with the thick glasses and the pocket protectors, they would not get anywhere near UFOs. But now that there's an official report saying we need more data, we need some R&D on this, well, now they're coming out of the woodwork, right? They're having a great time with this. Now they're publishing all kinds of stories saying that everything's flawed. Military collecting sensors and data and equipment is not there for UFOs. Yeah, we're just gonna call it UFOs. Fuck the UAP. Let's go back to basics. It's a fucking UFO, unidentified flying object, which was caught on sensors, seen by people, and these are people that normally would be seen as credible people in our armed forces. They are credible. They are experienced. But this report shitted on them, and now these pencil pushers are doing the same thing because they want some money. This is what the UFO report did. But even people in ufology are super happy about it. They're like ecstatic. For what reason, I have no freaking clue. Anyway, there's more to this report out of the Inquirer. You know what? To be honest, it's an okay article. It's a one-shitter article, maybe a half a shitter. But you jump on the throne, you take care of your business, and you can read this article out of the Inquirer. But, you know, it's basically the vultures are out now. They see the money, and the vultures are out. And now we're going to have all kind of science types researching UFOs now. What can you do? At this point, why even bother?
I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. 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 You wanna be with me. You wanna feel something real, but I'm feeling differently. You're making plans to get to France, but don't wanna face the fact that I ain't got time, I ain't got time, I ain't got time for that. Staying up late, sleeping all day, dreaming about Cadillacs. Buying new shoes, hanging by the pool, sipping on Coke and Jack. Calling my phone when you feel alone, but I'll never call you back. 'Cause I ain't got time, I ain't got time, I ain't got time for that. I don't give a damn, I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. 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 You're mad at me for not giving you comfort. You say that I'm away so much, and now you don't feel the way you felt when we were younger. But that's okay for me, 'cause I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. 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 I don't give a damn.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
Now, this is why I say that Dave should be the emissary for Australia. This is it right here, and I tell you, it's got to happen. So Dave says this: Earthbound sensors can scan something billions of miles away and give us full composition. And he's right? Because they do that. They use all these earthbound sensors in order to figure out whether a planet's in the Goldilocks zone, what their chemical composition is, whether they might have methane or they might have this, they might have that. But for fuck's sake, you really are telling us that these sensors on this military equipment can't tell something that's right there in front of them maybe a few miles ahead. I mean, this is why Dave is the emissary right there. That's the man. I love these things because they give me time to throw down some vodka. Fortunately for UFO believers, official report leaves plenty to the imagination. No, it didn't. I don't understand what people are reading. Who the fuck is reading this and then writing this? I don't get it. What imagination? It didn't leave shit to the imagination. Literally, there's articles out there that are saying that at least it didn't deny the existence of ETs. What the fuck? It wasn't even a topic of conversation. The shit was not in the report. It's not that hard to read 5 fucking pages of a report. You only had like 5 pages with data on it. How the fuck can you get that wrong? And I may be wrong. It might have called ET out or somewhere. Maybe I got the one that just was redacted in white. And I didn't see it because it was white text. And I needed my special decoder ring from the Senate in order to read that part. Because I didn't see anything in there about aliens at all. I saw a bucket of other shit. That's what they should have called it. There's other shit. And in there, they might have just brought out, ET in there. But it was not in there. I'm sorry. Maybe it was my version. Anyway, Harry Reid. Apparently somebody, you gotta love Harry Reid. Harry Reid, out of Nevada, somebody wrote to him and said, hey, actually, I don't know, they sent him a text, actually. They say, Harry, hey, buddy, how's retirement? They say, Harry Reid, former, I think it was a Senate Republican, right? Harry Reid, how was this report for you? This report, which covered 144 sightings, of which only one came back to be a balloon, the rest inconclusive. Harry said in the text, according to this article, the report is real slim. Shit. I mean, hopefully the guys in the Senate, part of that, the committee, the non-intelligence committee, the lacking intelligence committee, hopefully the guys in that committee slip this over to him. I know he's retired and all, but the guy's all about UFOs. I think Harry might be in his 80s already. I don't know. But he's all about UFOs. And, he has been championing this for some time. We'll get into that in just a second. And then Harry Reid continued to say he's not involved in a meaningful way today, right? Because he's retired. He's not part of the Senate, but he's always, keeping that fire burning. He says, I am glad I blew the whistle on UFOs. Even Harry's not using UAP anymore. Thank you, Harry. He says, if I hadn't, we would really be without knowledge on the subject. Harry, we didn't get any fucking knowledge. What are you talking about? What did we find out, Harry? What did we find out? God bless your heart. That's all I got to say about that. Harry Reid was one of the guys that facilitated $22 million of taxpayer blue-collar money, sweat, and tears in order to get that ATIP program going. Some of that money, of course, went to the one and only, the man that we love out in Nevada, besides Harry Reid, God bless his heart, Robert Bigelow, the space gigolo, out of Bigelow Aerospace. Now back about 2 years ago, or maybe 3, on UFO Buster Radio, there was a clip of Robert Bigelow when he talked about aliens. And apparently the reporter was kind of taken back by the fact that he was so open to actually talk about this with Lara Logan. And there's a point in this in this interview where he has this crazy kind of like a giggle, like demented giggle, and when she asks him questions about aliens being here today. Keep in mind that you've been hearing, for those of you who listen to other UFO, UAP, paranormal, ufology stuff, they've been telling you, even in the news reports, that the United States really hasn't paid attention to this. But you just heard that Sari Reid, Sari Reid, what the fuck? That Senator Reid, old Harry, that he helped facilitate $22 million. How the fuck do you spend $22 million and come up with shit? This happened. That money went to our buddy here. And just to, go back in time, I want to play for you guys that 2017 interview, just a part about E.T. Because the rest was about, Robert Bigelow and Big Bang Hank. He's getting all these things happening, even his involvement with NASA and stuff like that. But still, let's listen to Harry, Robert Bigelow, and how he feels after receiving $22 million fucking dollars from the blue collar workers of America, and what his thoughts are on aliens. It's going to be great.
But on this canyon road just outside Las Vegas, Robert Bigelow's story takes a turn that some may find, to put it lightly, improbable. He told us this is where his grandparents had a close encounter with a UFO.
It really sped up and came right into their face and filled up the entire windshield of the car. And it took off at a right angle and shot off into the distance.
That story sparked his obsession and explains the alien looking out from the side of Bigelow Aerospace. It made for the kind of conversation you don't ordinarily have with an accomplished CEO.
Do you believe in aliens?
I'm absolutely convinced. That's all there is to it.
Do you also believe that UFOs have come to Earth?
There has been and is an existing presence, an ET presence. And I spent millions and millions. I probably spent more as an individual than anybody else in the United States has ever spent on this subject.
Is it risky for you to say, in public that you believe in UFOs and aliens?
I don't care.
You don't worry that some people will say, did you hear that guy? He sounds like he's crazy.
I don't care.
Why not?
It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to change reality of what I know.
Do you imagine that in our space travels we will encounter other forms of intelligent life?
You don't have to go anywhere.
You can find it here.
Yeah.
Where exactly?
It's just like right under people's noses. Oh my gosh. Wow.
The FAA confirmed to us that for years it referred reports of UFOs and other unexplained phenomena to a company Bigelow owns. He told us he's had his own close encounters, but declined to go into detail. Robert Bigelow's quirky, and he knows it. But when you have as much money as he does, no one, not even NASA, seems to care.
Isn't it something? Let me tell you, that laugh that he gets when he's like a cat, the cat that swallowed the fucking canary. Kind of like what I said with Elizondo. He really is. Now, here you go. Here's a guy that $22 million, and that's what they're saying. Come on, it's probably more like $100 million. $22 million went for this whole investigation, which included Skinwalker Ranch, his time there, which, when you read some of the reports out of Skinwalker Ranch, holy shit. Holy shit, what the hell? Really? What is going on? Some of the stuff that gets leaked out of that particular study of Skinwalker Ranch speaks to so many things that we are just totally clueless about. But like I've said many times, the rich have all the info. They've got all the knowledge, and they get more and more money to acquire more and more knowledge and leave us blue-collar folks in the dark. But you heard them. Yeah, there's aliens. For fuck's sake, they're here. I spent $22 million to figure that out. I don't understand why people think that this has not been studied. that we're finally getting acknowledgement. You don't fucking spend millions and millions of dollars studying a phenomena that you do not think is real. There is no acknowledgement of the existence of UFOs in this UAP report. There isn't. If anything, I can believe people that say that what this UAP report is serving is maybe including a wider audience into this so-called acknowledgement that didn't exist before. There's been, almost 4 years, a big hoopla about these videos that have been released by the armed, like the Air Force, acknowledgement by the Pentagon, and so forth. And now we have this shitty-ass report that we waited 6+ months for, which is nothing. But I don't think this report was not made for you and I who are tracking this. This was made to bring other people into the conversation, to give a little bit more awareness, and of course ask for more money. Okay, and sadly I go back to our reptilian man Stephen Greer every time. He's been saying this for decades. UFOs will be a threat. The government's going to ask you for more money to build these unbelievable, incredible technologies that they're going to show to the public that they already had. But they're going to bring it forth as a response to the threat of UFOs. And that might be happening, to be honest. I mean, CE5, for fuck's sake, I don't get it, but this might be one of the things that Stephen Greer might be on the money about. But what do I know? I'm just a podcaster. That's all I do. But you guys, you got to check this out. Actually, you might even, when he chuckles in that interview with Lara Logan, I start to laugh, because he's saying they're here. They're already here. You should see what I know. And towards the end, she says that she asked him about his own experiences with ETs and crafts and stuff like that. He said he has some, but he doesn't want to divulge it. But this might have been tied to Skinwalker Ranch, to be honest. But we'll never know. He is so eccentric. It's just bananas. So when you hear that this government here, the United States, has not spent a lot of times, and it's for the first time is acknowledging that UFOs or UAPs are real, that's not the case. You wouldn't spend so much manpower, so much reporting, so much hiring, and trying to get people. For fuck's sake, even in this clip, they even said that the FAA, which is a federal body of the United States tied to aviation, that they were giving all these UFO reports. They weren't keeping that shit. They were giving it to the man that gave the $22 million to. And what did he do? He kept the info to himself in some secret database that even most of his employees could not have access to. I'm telling you, this is deep. But we, the blue-collar people of the world, are never going to get the answers. I mean, listen, it's not going to happen in our lifetime because they're going to keep us from it. Unless somehow somebody can gather all the blue-collar people of the world, the people that slave day in and day out working their asses off for who knows the fuck what. If we can get them together to start our own research, our own publicly funded blue-collar research into what the hell this UAP, UFO thing's about. Hell, we'll put people in fucking dinghies out in the middle of the Pacific just to track this shit. I mean, let's be honest. Their technology now, it's out there for regular consumers. It's fantastic. And where there's a will, there's a way. But waiting for congressional hearings is not the way. And we will not get what we think we deserve. And that's answers. Check this out.
All I ever Wanted was you, but you left me alone inside these empty, broken walls. And I can't see it clearly, but it's obvious. I know that you left me alone inside this empty, broken hall. And now you'll be the reason why my soul is tainted. Somebody help me, 'cause I'm feeling trapped and I don't know what to do. There's no one to save me from this hurt I feel deep within my bones. Did you ever think of me and see the things I did? Sold my soul and everything, I was to the lowest bid. Crawled into your poison dome, yet every single time you got into my mind, you got into my mind. But all I ever wanted was you. But you left me alone inside these empty, broken walls. And I can't see it clearly, but it's obvious. I know that you left me alone inside this empty, broken hall. And now you'll be the reason why my soul is tainted. So how can I fix this? 'Cause I need to stop the aching in my head. My heart is breaking. Yeah, I'm tired of being stuck in the past. Did you ever think of me and see the things I did? Sold my soul and everything, I was to the lowest bid. Crawled into your poison dome, yet every single time you got into my mind, you got into my mind. But all I ever wanted was you. But you left me alone inside these empty, broken walls. And I can't see it clearly, but it's obvious. I know that you left me alone inside this empty, broken hall. And now you'll be the reason why my soul is tainted. The reason why my soul is tainted. You're the reason why my soul is tainted. You're the reason why my soul is tainted. You're the reason why my soul is tainted.
Get down. 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 Get down or I'll put you down. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Hasta la vista, baby.
You know, we've been talking about too, actually this year, a lot about China and Russia. Well, a lot of, let's be honest, we've been talking about how their equipment fucking sucks when it comes to the space race. But, you know, more China, because China's like dropping shit everywhere and not giving too many fucks, as far as we know. Right? It could all be propaganda. We don't really hear the truth about what happened. For all we know, China's just picking up all their shit and handing millions of bucks out to everyone to make up for the shit they do. But a lot of people say it's not likely. Not likely at all. Well, it turns out that the space race is just heating up between China and everybody fucking else. I mean, not just the U.S. I mean, they are on the warpath. They've actually made it official. We also know that recently, you know, they've announced that they're putting their own space station together. We're tired of hanging out with the smelly Americans and Europeans in the space station. It smells like piss. Can you imagine you go up to the space station and it smells like piss? And you know, I don't know. I'd be pretty upset too. I don't want to be hanging around for 6 months in space, actually floating around where someone pissed themselves. So yeah, I'll build my own damn space station, you nasty fuckers. But anyway, that's what they're doing. So recently, I think this weekend, they had a spacewalk. You know, they were out there getting their shit together for their little space station, which, let's be honest, it's 2021. It should, if it wasn't that it was China that was putting it together, but it should be really fucking advanced. And let's be honest, some of the coolest shit that we've seen when it comes to landing vehicles on the moon and Mars has come out of China. They've done some cool shit. Multi-level transforming fucking satellites and rovers. They've done some incredible things. Our rovers, those are just, they're just big. They give us no fucking answers. They're just huge. Officially, China recently designated space as a military domain. Like they've got some balls on them. They're spreading their soy sauce everywhere. And this was done through official documents. They are in there for space warfare and operations. They want to be superior and using offensive and defensive means. Like they really gives no fucks. And they're making that clear. There's a quote here from one of the China news agencies. It says China has recently reorganized its space and counter-space forces and placed them in a new major force structure that allows control over electronic warfare and cyber. But we all know about those cyber attacks. They're coming from somewhere over there. Nobody wants to admit to it. Global counter-space capabilities and open source assessment says it is uncertain whether China would fully utilize its offensive counter-space capabilities in a future conflict. What? That's just dumb. Or whether the goal is to use them as a deterrent against U.S. aggression. Beijing also recently conducted the first launch of a new space plane, according to Brian Whedon, Director of Program of Planning at the Foundation. So here it is. So we know, for a while we didn't, but we know that there's like a miniature space shuttle that the U.S. Air Force calls the X-37B. And it's broken records, being up in space for well over a year, doing who the fuck knows what. But it's fully robotic, and it does its thing. There's nobody on it. Now, how autonomous it is, nobody knows. Apparently, China has one too. Another carbon copy of the space shuttle, the U.S. space shuttle, which is fully robotic, and they say it's autonomous, doing his own thing. How the fuck can all these things be up there and no one even know that they're there? This is just nuts. According to this article, there's evidence that the new space plane by China actually went into orbit, made a few revolutions, and actually deployed a small satellite and landed at a military base. How did we miss all of this? This is the unintelligent committee. The unintelligent community. This is what we got. According to this, besides that, they really don't know anything else about it. And this came from that Whedon person who hosted a Center for Strategic and International Studies panel. We know zero about what China is trying to do, but they make it clear because they publish all that shit officially. And why wouldn't they say we're coming in balls to the wall in space? I mean, let's be honest. This is what we're heading to. The space race is not just a race. It's basically about different countries pounding their chests, trying to take over space. And there's just not enough space for everyone, especially if they go up there with that kind of attitude. Something's bound to go wrong. So they're working on their space station right now. Over the weekend, like I said, there was a spacewalk to try to get things together. But now they have a space plane. But if you throw all of this together with the fact that we have this UAP report and the fact that no one knows anything, how can you be surprised? It really is incredible how much they do know and don't want to share. They rather just shrug their shoulders and say China, Russia, or blame some other country than tell us the truth about what's going on. That is where we are with UFOs when it comes to the government. The fact that China has its own space plane, the fact that we didn't know for years that the Air Force had its own space plane as well, kind of tells you we are probably about 10, 20 years behind the point where anyone's going to admit to the existence of real UFOs not being of this planet. But if we could just get fucking Robert Bigelow to talk, that would be amazing. He's the one that we need to get to talk. Him and anybody else as part of his projects that receive government money. I mean, the fucking guy's a billionaire. Why would we need to give him $22 million? Let's be honest about that. But not going to complain if he comes forward and tells us what's going on. Him and everybody else. Lou Elizondo as well. Tell us the truth. I know you're holding on to your status. You don't want to lose it because it makes it hard for you to get employment. But come on, Lou. If you're part of this story, you've got to don't wait to the deathbed confession. That's not going to help us. Tell us the truth. Let us know what's really going on when it comes to this UFO situation. Because we know, many of them know more than what they're telling us. And they might be holding the Moab, the mother of all UFO bombs, to release just in case. I think we're here. This is the just in case. Yeah, this is the Tempest Universe. I thank you guys for listening. I appreciate every single one of you. On Wednesday, we're going to dig into all the changes that are happening at SpaceX because it's here in Texas. So, I've got a bit of a kinship to it. I haven't been there in a while, but old Dre from South Texas, apparently he went there recently and saw the two silver phalluses fully erect down there in Boca Chica. So, hey, let's get some updates. And then we'll see what else is going to happen by then because space, as a race this time around, it's really different. There's a lot of combative conversations when it comes to space this time around, and it could get ugly. But until then, ciao.
I'm a selfish kind of person with a soul trying to fly. I aim to break the laws of nature and learn to love before I die. I was naked then, I'm naked now, and my nakedness
Time can never be your trusted friend or your sworn ally. No, it's the harshest mistress of all. And life is just a chain of moments spent, 1,000 hellos and goodbyes. Maybe a love like ours can lead out its call. Seasons come and pass, one after the last, and along we go. The shift and pull of the tides never sleeps. But if I had a boat and oceans to cross, then I would sail them. Since I have this promise to keep, I will keep you near until the world ends and you are safe with me until the world ends, and I will stay with you until the
Ugh!